Tonight, you will discover a powerful secret that Buddhist monks have used for centuries to quiet the restless mind and find deep, meaningful rest. This secret is not a complicated technique or a magical mantra, but a simple, profound practice of letting go, releasing the heavy burdens of negative energy that weigh upon your heart and mind. So make yourself comfortable. Adjust your pillow just so. Let your body become heavy against the bed. Take one deep breath with me now. Inhale slowly, feeling the cool air enter your lungs. And exhale gently, releasing tension, worries, and any tightness you may be holding. With each breath, feel your body sinking deeper into calmness, like a leaf floating softly on still water. Tonight's journey will take you through gentle stories and teachings from Zen and Buddhist wisdom, each carefully chosen to guide you into a tranquil state of mind. You will hear ancient parables that reveal how to loosen the grip of anger, attachment, and fear. You will learn practices to bring peace to your thoughts and open your heart to kindness. Most importantly, you will be invited to experience these teachings not just as words, but as living, breathing moments of peace that can transform your sleep and your waking life. I promise you, this is more than just a relaxation exercise. It is a pathway to a deeper freedom, a space within where negative energy falls away naturally, where the mind rests quietly, and where true restfulness blooms. If doubts arise or your thoughts wander gently, bring your attention back to this moment, here and now, safe and supported. So please stay with me. Allow your curiosity to lead you gently forward. Feel the invitation to let go growing softly within. Let your breath and your heart be the rhythm that carries you through. Let us begin with our first story. So before we settle in, feel free to like and subscribe only if this space brings you peace. I'd also love to know where you're joining from and what time it is in your part of the world. Please share in the comments below. It's always beautiful to connect across time and place. Now dim the lights, maybe light a candle or incense, and let's wander into stillness together. There was once a man who lived in a small, humble village, nestled beside a gently flowing river. Each day he awoke before dawn and set about the hard work of his life, carrying heavy loads of firewood, tilling the stubborn soil, and tending to his modest home. Though he moved through his daily tasks with determination, a quiet weight rested upon his shoulders. His mind was often tangled in restless thoughts, worries about the future, regrets from the past, frustrations from harsh words spoken by others, and a deep sense of weariness that settled into his bones. One evening, as the sun dipped slowly below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of soft amber and rose, the man found himself drawn to the riverbank. The village was growing quiet. The sounds of bustling activity gave way to the subtle symphony of nature, the chirping of crickets, the gentle rustling of leaves, the distant call of a night bird. He sat quietly on a smooth stone, the cool earth beneath him grounding his restless spirit. His eyes traced the water's surface as it flowed steadily downstream, carrying everything along in its path. The river was both constant and ever-changing, sometimes clear and calm, reflecting the golden sky like a mirror, sometimes stirred by the evening breeze, rippling with movement and shimmer. As the man watched, a single leaf drifted down from a nearby tree. It landed gently on the water and began to float away, carried effortlessly by the current. What struck the man was how the leaf did not resist the river's flow. It did not fight against the water or try to steer itself in a different direction. Instead, it surrendered completely, trusting the natural movement of the river to carry it where it needed to go. In that quiet moment, A deep truth settled softly into the man's heart, like a seed planted gently in fertile soil. He realized that his own suffering came not from the troubles around him, nor from the inevitable changes life brought, but from his own tight grip, the resistance he held against the currents of life. His mind, much like his body burdened with daily toils, was heavy with clinging to fears, to anger, to the illusion of control. The leaf's gentle surrender whispered to him a timeless lesson. Just as the leaf trusts the river, so too could he learn to release his burdens and let go of his grasping, to stop holding tightly onto his fears and frustrations, and instead allow life's flow to carry him with ease. This realization did not come as a sudden epiphany, but as a quiet invitation to begin one breath at a time. This simple story beautifully reflects one of the core teachings of Buddhism, the profound understanding that suffering arises when we cling to what is transient and resist the natural flow of existence. The Buddha himself spoke clearly of this when he said, "Let go of the past, let go of the future, let go of the present, and cross over to the further shore of existence. With a mind free from attachments, you shall come no more to birth and death." In this teaching, the river becomes a powerful metaphor for life itself, always moving, always changing, never fixed. Our thoughts, emotions, and experiences are like the currents and winds upon the river's surface, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, but always impermanent. When we grasp tightly, wishing things to be different than they are, we create inner turbulence, a storm in the mind. We cling to hopes, fears, memories, and expectations, holding on so tightly that the tension builds like a knot in our hearts. This tight grip is the source of much of our suffering. Yet when we practice letting go like the leaf that trusts the river's flow, we begin to discover a peace that is not dependent on the changing conditions around us. This peace arises from surrender, from wise acceptance, and from the courage to release what no longer serves our well-being. It is important to understand that this teaching is not an invitation to passivity or resignation. Letting go does not mean giving up or ignoring life's challenges. Rather, it is a call to wise acceptance, a clear-eyed acknowledgement of reality without the resistance that creates suffering. To let go is to open the hands of the heart, to unclench the fists of the mind, and to create space within ourselves. In that space, calm, clarity, and rest can arise naturally. Now, as you lie here, feeling the support of your bed beneath you, you can begin to practice this letting go in your own way. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs gently. And as you exhale softly through your mouth, imagine releasing any tension you may be carrying. Feel the breath as it flows in and out, steady and natural. With each exhale, picture your worries and negative energy as leaves on a river floating gently downstream, drifting farther and farther away from you. There is no need to chase them or push them forcefully. Simply allow them to flow away, carried by the current of your calm breath. Ask yourself quietly and kindly, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What fears or frustrations can I allow to flow away with ease? There is no pressure to answer. Simply observe whatever arises with curiosity and compassion. You might notice thoughts trying to pull you back, doubts whispering their familiar worries. That is perfectly normal. When these arise, return your attention gently to the breath, to the image of the flowing river, to the leaf carried softly away. You can practice this breathing and letting go anytime you feel overwhelmed, whether now, tonight, or throughout your days. Breathe in peace. Breathe out resistance. With each breath, sink deeper into the river of calm. this is only the beginning of a gentle journey inward, one that leads to restful sleep and a heart free from the heavy chains of negative energy. In the next part, we will explore a powerful and timeless parable, The Burning House, that reveals how desire and attachment fuel suffering and how the path of letting go can open the way to true freedom. Stay with me. Let your heart open slowly and softly, like the river's surface touched by evening light. The path is gentle, the journey sacred, and the rest you seek is already within you. In a time long past, there was a wealthy man who lived in a large, beautiful house. Though his home was filled with many treasures, the man's heart was troubled by his children. They were small and restless, and they did not understand the dangers that surrounded their home. One day, the house caught fire, and the children were trapped inside, unaware of the peril. The father, seeing the smoke and flames, ran desperately to rescue them. But the children, distracted by their favorite toys, refused to leave the house. They clung tightly to their playthings, unwilling to let go, even in the face of danger. The father then called out to them, promising new and wondrous gifts if they would come out safely. He spoke of magnificent carts, some drawn by goats, others by deer, and others by beautiful white oxen. Intrigued by the promise of these marvelous carts, the children finally left the burning house and escaped to safety. This ancient parable, known as The Burning House, carries a profound message about desire and attachment. The house represents our world, often filled with suffering and impermanence. The children symbolize ourselves caught up in distractions and attachments that prevent us from seeing the truth. The burning fire is the inevitable suffering and dissatisfaction that life brings. And the Father's promise of carts is, like the Buddha's teachings, skillful means designed to guide us toward liberation. This story, simple yet profound, serves as a gentle mirror reflecting a deep truth about the nature of human attachment. It reminds us how our yearning for worldly pleasures, familiar comforts, and fleeting desires can blind us to a more urgent, vital call, the call for inner awakening and freedom. Like the children in the story who cling tightly to their beloved toys, we too often grasp at the things we think will bring us happiness. We hold on fiercely to what is known and comfortable, even when those very attachments cause us pain, restlessness, and a subtle, persistent unease. Consider for a moment the many ways we clutch our toys in life. These may be material possessions that define our sense of security, habits that soothe anxiety but trap us in repetitive cycles, or even thoughts and beliefs that shape our identity and shield us from uncertainty. Sometimes these attachments are disguised as necessities, things we cannot live without. Yet beneath the surface, they may quietly smolder like the flames of the burning house, slowly consuming our peace and freedom. The pain we feel, the dissatisfaction that lingers like a shadow, is often a clear sign that our attachments are no longer serving us, but instead binding us. This discomfort is nature's way of urging us to awaken, to turn inward and question, what is it I am holding on to? What in my life is burning me from within? Yet the story does not leave us in despair. The figure of the Father emerges as a symbol of boundless compassion and wisdom. He does not force the children out of the burning house. There is no harsh command or cruel urgency. Instead, he speaks tenderly, inviting them with promises of something better, gifts more beautiful and lasting than the toys they clutch. These gifts are symbols of freedom, joy, and peace that come only when we let go. This compassionate invitation mirrors the Buddha's approach to teaching. He did not demand that his followers renounce their attachments abruptly or without support. Instead, he offered skillful means, teachings, and practices designed to awaken the heart gently, to encourage release with kindness and understanding. In our own lives, we can take a moment now to reflect. What are the toys I am holding on to? What desires, habits, fears, or attachments distract me from deeper peace? This reflection is not an exercise in judgment or self-criticism. Rather, it is an act of kindness toward yourself, a gentle inquiry born of curiosity and care. To recognize our attachments is the first step toward freedom. Awareness shines a light into the shadowed corners of the mind, revealing what has long been hidden or ignored. When we meet these parts of ourselves with compassion rather than condemnation, we open a doorway through which change can flow. The Buddha taught clearly that suffering or dukkha arises from craving and clinging. But he also showed that through mindfulness, ethical living, and wisdom, we can loosen the grip of attachment. Each breath taken with awareness, each moment lived with ethical intention, and each insight gained through practice brings us closer to the carts of liberation, the path that leads beyond suffering. As you listen now, I invite you to bring this teaching into your own experience. Gently invite yourself to notice where you might be holding too tightly in your life. There is no need to rush or push. Simply observe with a calm, open heart. Allow whatever arises to be met with kindness and patience. Take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs completely. And as you exhale, imagine the weight of attachment softening, loosening like smoke, rising slowly and effortlessly from the burning house. Feel the tension begin to melt away with each breath, leaving space for ease and clarity. You might try this reflection tonight, or whenever you feel caught in the cycles of clinging and resistance. What desires or fears keep me from stepping into freedom? How can I welcome change with an open heart? Where can I practice gentleness toward myself as I let go? Remember, the journey of letting go is not about loss or emptiness. It is about gaining a deeper joy, a joy born from clarity, presence, and peace. It is a journey from bondage to liberation, from darkness into light. This path unfolds naturally when we allow ourselves to move with the flow of life rather than against it. When you feel ready, imagine yourself stepping out of the burning house, leaving behind the worries and attachments that no longer serve you. Visualize the wide open space beyond the door, a place of fresh air, gentle light, and freedom. Know that this place is not somewhere far away, but always present within you, waiting to be discovered through the practice of letting go. As we prepare to continue, consider this suffering itself is not only caused by external circumstances or life's inevitable changes. Often, the suffering becomes heavier because of how we react, how we resist, deny, or add layers of fear and judgment. In the next section, we will explore the wisdom of the two arrows, a teaching that reveals how much of our pain comes not from life itself, but from our own responses. By cultivating mindful awareness, we can begin to untangle these reactions and find gentle relief. Stay with me now as we continue this unfolding path toward rest, renewal, and profound peace. In the quiet, profound teachings of the Buddha, there exists a metaphor that carries an enduring truth about suffering and how we experience it. This metaphor is known as the two arrows. Imagine, if you will, the first arrow as pain, the inevitable, unavoidable hurts, losses, and challenges that life sends our way. It might be a physical injury, the loss of a loved one, a harsh word spoken, or simply the experience of aging and change. This first arrow represents the natural difficulties we all face as part of being human. But then there is the second arrow, a subtle yet powerful layer of suffering that we add on top of the initial pain. This second arrow represents our reactions, the anger, resistance, worry, self-judgment, and spiraling thoughts that amplify the original hurt. It is this second arrow the Buddha taught that deepens our suffering, making what is already difficult feel unbearable. Consider a simple, everyday moment. Perhaps you say the wrong thing to someone you love, unintentionally causing hurt or misunderstanding. That event itself is the first arrow, the discomfort or pain of the moment. But then, your mind begins to replay the scene over and over, fueling feelings of shame, guilt, or anxiety about what might happen next. You worry about how the other person might feel or what they might think. You criticize yourself harshly, replaying imagined scenarios of blame. This swirl of mental and emotional pain is the second arrow, the extra suffering we create by resisting judging or fearing. The wisdom of the two arrows teaches us that while the first arrow is often unavoidable, the second arrow is something we can learn to soften or even avoid altogether. We cannot always control what happens to us, but we can cultivate awareness of how we respond. This teaching invites us to pause to create a gentle space between the event and our reaction. In that space, we meet our emotions and thoughts, not with harsh judgment or self-condemnation, but with gentle curiosity and kindness. When the second arrow arises, can you notice it as it happens? Can you recognize when your mind begins to spin stories or lash out at itself? This awareness is the seed of freedom. Imagine this awareness as a quiet observer within you, a calm witness that sees the waves of pain and resistance without being swept away. This observer holds a soft light of understanding, embracing all parts of yourself with patience and love. In your own life, reflect for a moment on times when pain has touched you. Perhaps it was a recent disappointment, the fading of health, or a difficult conversation. Notice how your mind responds to these challenges. Do you find yourself trapped in narratives of blame, fear, or helplessness? Or is there a part of you that can step back and observe these experiences with calm acceptance, allowing the first arrow to be just that, an experience of life without the additional weight of the second arrow? This gentle practice of mindful awareness is a skill that unfolds gradually. It is like learning to float on water rather than struggling against it. You may find that over time, your suffering lessens not because the difficulties themselves disappear, but because your relationship to them changes. Now, as you lie here comfortably feeling the softness that supports you, bring your attention inward to your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the steady rhythm that carries you through each moment effortlessly. When thoughts or emotions arise, the second arrows invite yourself to acknowledge them. You do not need to push them away or cling to them. Imagine these thoughts and feelings as passing clouds drifting across a wide open sky. See them gently appear, float by, and dissolve. Allow yourself to meet these moments with kindness. If the mind wanders gently, guide your attention back to the breath, back to the present moment, back to the calm center within. You might find it helpful to practice this simple meditation, breathing in a rhythm of awareness and release. Breathe in awareness, breathe out judgment, breathe in calm, breathe out resistance. Let each breath be a reminder that while pain is a natural part of life, the additional suffering caused by resistance and judgment can be softened, lessened, and even transformed through mindful presence. This practice is not about avoiding or denying pain. It is about learning to hold our difficulties with an open heart, to allow them space without fueling them with fear or anger. It is an invitation to meet ourselves with compassion, especially when life feels hard. Each time we recognize the second arrow as it arises, we create a pause, a moment of choice. In that moment, we may respond differently with gentleness instead of harshness, with patience instead of frustration, with understanding instead of blame. This subtle shift can ripple outward, touching not only our inner world, but also our relationships with others. As we cultivate this awareness, we become less reactive, more centered, and more free. In the quiet stillness that follows each breath, imagine your heart softening. Feel a gentle warmth spreading through your body, calming the places where tension lingers. Know that you are not alone in this experience. Every human being faces pain and the temptation to add suffering through resistance. Yet the Buddha's teaching offers a way to ease this universal struggle. By practicing mindful awareness, we train ourselves to be present with what is with kindness, with curiosity, and with courage. As you continue to rest here, invite this teaching of the two arrows to settle deeply into your being. Let it be a gentle guide through the days ahead, reminding you to notice your reactions and to respond with compassion. When life presents its inevitable challenges, remember the choice you carry to be pierced by the second arrow, or to soften your response and find ease within. In the next section, we will explore a story that beautifully illustrates how our perceptions shape our experience, how anger and negative energy often arise not from others, but from how we interpret and react to the world around us. We will learn how shifting our perspective can dissolve these patterns, opening the door to peace. Stay with me now as we continue this tender journey of letting go and deepening inner calm. Once a wise Zen master was crossing a river with his students. As they sat quietly on a small boat drifting across the calm water, a sudden gust of wind caused a large empty boat to drift toward them. The master noticed one of his students becoming visibly upset and angry, muttering under his breath about the carelessness of others. The master asked the student calmly, "Why are you angry?" The student replied, "Because someone has set that empty boat adrift, and it almost collided with us. How careless and disrespectful they must be." The master smiled softly and said, "That boat is empty. There is no one steering it, no one intending harm. It is simply drifting with the current." At that moment, the student's anger began to dissolve as he realized that the source of his irritation was not the actions of another person, but his own interpretation, his mind's story about the boat and its owner. The empty boat was just drifting like the currents of life without intention or malice. This story invites us to look deeply into the intricate dance between perception and emotion, how the stories we tell ourselves shape the way we feel and respond to the world around us. It gently reveals a universal truth. Often anger and resentment do not arise directly from what others do, but from the judgments, assumptions, and narratives we create in our minds. Consider for a moment the countless times you may have felt irritation, frustration, or even rage. Perhaps someone cut you off in traffic, or a colleague's careless words stung more deeply than expected. Maybe a loved one failed to meet your expectations, or a friend forgot an important promise. In these moments, the mind instinctively begins to weave stories that assign blame, imply intention, or construct a narrative of injustice. These mental narratives feed emotional storms within us, magnifying the original event into something far more painful. But what if, as the Zen student by the river learned, those stories are like empty boats drifting on the currents of our mind? Boats without captains or crews, floating harmlessly, moved by forces beyond any deliberate control. The empty boat is a metaphor for the perceptions, assumptions, and reactive thoughts that often fill our minds without true grounding or awareness. If we pause and begin to examine these mental stories with care, we might find that they lack the solid foundation we often give them. we might realize that much of our anger or suffering arises not from an objective reality, but from the way we interpret and respond to events. To bring this closer to your own experience, take a gentle moment to reflect on times when anger or frustration has surfaced in your life. When you felt those emotions rising, what story did your mind tell you about the situation? Was there a clear understanding of another's intentions? Or was there a certainty, a feeling that someone had acted purposely to harm or disrespect you? Was blame present? Did you judge the other person harshly? Did your mind paint them as careless, mean, or uncaring? Perhaps you also judged yourself, wondering if you were too sensitive, or if you could have done something differently. These stories are powerful. They shape our emotional landscape and often keep us trapped in cycles of suffering. Now imagine the possibility that the empty boat was just drifting, no one steering, no one intending harm, no secret plot against you. Imagine the situation unfolding naturally as part of life's flow. See it as a momentary event without added meaning or story. This shift in perception is not always easy, especially when emotions run deep and wounds feel fresh. Yet with patient, gentle practice, we can begin to notice the stories our minds create and choose to see situations with more openness and less judgment. Here is a simple but profound exercise you can try whenever difficult emotions arise. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep, conscious breath. As you breathe in, feel the fullness of the present moment. As you breathe out, release any tightness or tension you hold. Ask yourself quietly, is my anger directed at an actual intention, or is it a story my mind has created? Bring to mind the situation that caused discomfort. Visualize it like an empty boat drifting on a calm river, harmless, unintentional, simply moving with the current. Allow this image to soften your heart. Let the grip of blame or judgment loosen. Notice how this perspective changes the emotional weight of the situation. This practice does not mean ignoring injustice, harm, or wrongdoing. It is not about becoming passive or accepting hurtful behavior without care. Instead, it invites us to create space between the event and our reaction. By separating our feelings from the reactive stories we often add, we open room for compassion, understanding, and a more peaceful response. This space is where healing begins. It is the fertile ground for wisdom to grow. As you rest here now, breathe slowly and deeply. Feel the calm river of your breath carrying away tension and agitation. Imagine your mind as a vast sky, wide open and unbounded. Thoughts, judgments, and emotions are like clouds drifting across this sky. They come and go, shifting shape and color, but the sky itself remains clear and unchanged. Allow yourself to rest in this openness. Let the sky of your mind be free. This story and practice offer a beautiful, timeless reminder. Much of our suffering is not caused by the world outside, but by the way we perceive and react to it. When we shift our perspective, when we see the empty boats in our minds and allow them to drift without adding weight, anger softens, resentment fades, and peace can arise naturally. Stay with me now as we continue this tender journey toward deepening stillness, freedom, and rest. Among the many profound teachings the Buddha shared, one stands out as a tender, practical guide to navigating life's challenges: the metaphor of the raft. This simple yet beautiful image offers us a gentle invitation to hold lightly to what supports us and to let go of what no longer serves our journey toward peace and freedom. The Buddha said, "If someone wants to cross the river, a raft is useful. Once the river is crossed, why carry the raft on your back?" These words may seem straightforward, but their depth invites us to reflect on the tools, beliefs, and practices we rely on. both on the spiritual path and in everyday life. The raft symbolizes these helpful means teachings, meditation's insights, habits that aid us in crossing the often turbulent river of suffering. But once we have reached the other side, the very raft that helped us can become an unnecessary weight, even a burden if we cling to it. Let's imagine this scene for a moment. Picture yourself arriving at the edge of a wide river. The water is flowing swiftly, carrying with it challenges, fears, doubts, and the unknowns of life. You cannot swim across easily, so you build or find a sturdy raft. With care and courage, you use this raft to cross the river safely. The currents may toss and challenge you, but the raft is your reliable companion. Now, once you have crossed, imagine if you insisted on carrying that raft on your back for miles and miles. It would become heavy and tiring, limiting your movement, distracting you from the landscape ahead. You would miss the beauty of the path beyond the river because your focus is on carrying this cumbersome object. This metaphor reminds us that sometimes in life and practice, we hold on to beliefs, identities, or habits that once helped us, but now slow us down or cause strain. These rafts may be old stories we tell ourselves, fears that keep us stuck, rigid views of who we should be, or even spiritual practices followed out of obligation rather than genuine growth. In our daily lives, this teaching encourages mindfulness about what we carry. It invites us to ask ourselves, what rafts am I still holding on to that may no longer serve me? Are there beliefs creating rigidity where flexibility would bring peace? Are there fears or habits that have outlived their usefulness, yet remain tightly held? Are there parts of my identity, old roles, expectations, or self-images that prevent me from growing and healing? Becoming aware of these attachments is the first step toward a gentle release. It requires compassion, not judgment, because holding on is often a natural attempt to feel safe and secure. The metaphor of the raft also calls for wisdom and discernment on our journey. Not every teaching or practice is meant to be permanent. The Buddha's own teachings were skillful means tools to awaken us, not dogmas to carry indefinitely. As we journey inward, shedding old layers and embracing new understandings is part of the dance of life, a continual crossing of rivers, sometimes lightening our load, sometimes choosing a new path entirely. This unfolding process is natural. Sometimes we cling to our raft out of fear of the unknown, fear of losing control, or fear of losing parts of ourselves. Yet trusting in the journey means knowing when to set the raft down and walk forward freely. Imagine how light your body and mind would feel without this extra weight. Imagine moving forward with curiosity and openness, discovering new landscapes within and without. Now, as you lie here, comfortably supported fully by your bed, breathe deeply and slowly. Feel the solid ground beneath you, steady, safe, unchanging. Visualize yourself standing on a quiet riverbank, having just crossed to the other side. The raft you used lies gently on the shore behind you, no longer needed. It rests there peacefully, its purpose fulfilled. Notice the lightness spreading through your body. Feel your mind clear, your heart open. Allow gratitude to rise for the journey you have traveled so far. Honor the courage it took to cross the river. Let curiosity bloom for the path ahead, a path unburdened and free. This moment is a chance to practice the reflection whenever you feel weighed down or stuck. What am I carrying that I can release? How can I trust myself to walk freely without unnecessary weight? Remember, this teaching is not about rushing or forcing release. It is about cultivating gentle awareness and patience. It honors the natural rhythm of growth, the ebb and flow of holding on and letting go. The raft metaphor is a loving reminder that the path to peace is not a fixed possession or a straight line. It is a living journey, one where letting go is as vital as holding on. Consider how this teaching applies, not just to spiritual matters, but to everyday life. Sometimes we cling to grudges or past hurts, carrying them like heavy baggage. We may hold tightly to anger, resentment, or disappointment long after the moment has passed, making our emotional load heavier. At other times, we cling to roles or expectations, the idea that we must be a certain way to be accepted or valued. These can become invisible rafts, preventing us from stepping fully into who we are becoming. And sometimes even well-meaning spiritual beliefs or routines become rigid, making us resistant to change or growth. We may fear that letting go means losing our foundation. Yet, true freedom comes not from clinging, but from trusting ourselves to walk the path without unnecessary burdens. Try to bring a sense of kindness to yourself now, acknowledging where you may have carried your raft too long. Allow the possibility of setting it down, even if only for a moment. Feel the ease that comes from releasing tension, both physical and mental. Know that the river of life will continue to flow, but you are steady and capable. You have crossed this current once, and you can do so again. As you prepare to continue on this journey, keep this teaching close to your heart. The path is gentle and forgiving, full of opportunities to learn when to hold on and when to let go. In the next section, we will hear the tender story of Kisa Gautami, a mother whose grief led her to a simple but profound task, one that revealed the universality of suffering and opened the way to compassion. Stay with me as we move deeper into this peaceful journey inward. In the quiet village where the Buddha once taught, there lived a woman named Kisa Gautami. She was a devoted mother whose heart was filled with boundless love for her child. Her days were brightened by his laughter, his innocent smiles, and the simple joys of watching him grow. For Kisa, her son was the center of her world, her reason for waking, and her comfort through the trials of life. But one day, as life's impermanence unfolded its gentle yet unforgiving hand, her joy was shattered. Her little son suddenly fell ill. Despite her desperate care and endless prayers, the child's health faded quickly, and before long he passed away. The loss overwhelmed Kisa, leaving her heart shattered into fragments of grief that seemed too heavy to bear. Unable to accept the finality of death, Kisa carried her child's lifeless body from house to house throughout the village. Her eyes were swollen from tears. Her voice was desperate as she pleaded with neighbors, friends, and even strangers, begging for a medicine to bring her son back to life. Each door she knocked on, each face she met, was met with sorrow and sympathy, but no remedy. Her desperation grew, but so did her determination. Finally, someone told her of the Buddha, a wise teacher whose compassion and understanding could perhaps offer what she sought. With hope clinging to the edges of her broken heart, Kisa approached the Buddha. She laid her son at his feet and shared her grief, her pain, and her longing. The Buddha listened deeply, his eyes filled with compassion and kindness that reached into the depths of her suffering. Then he gave her a task, a simple yet seemingly impossible request, to find a mustard seed from a household where no one had ever died. Though the request seemed strange, Kisa accepted it. Clutching her child, she set out once more. She visited one home after another, carrying her plea. But in every household, no matter how prosperous or humble, she found the same truth: death had touched them all. Parents, siblings, children, friends, all had experienced loss. No home was untouched by sorrow. No family was spared from the inevitable cycle of birth and death. As Kisa traveled and listened to these stories, her heart began to shift. The raw, sharp edges of her grief softened as she understood the profound truth the Buddha was guiding her towards. Suffering and loss are universal. They are woven into the fabric of human existence. None of us is exempt. This tender story of Kisa Gotami offers us a gentle yet powerful lesson about the universality of suffering. It teaches us that pain, loss, and grief are not signs of failure or personal tragedy alone. They are part of the shared human experience that connects us all. This realization can bring a paradoxical sense of comfort, a reminder that we are not alone in our struggles. Countless others have walked similar paths of sorrow and healing. Their stories echo ours, and in this shared experience, compassion naturally arises. When we recognize that suffering is common to all, we begin to meet ourselves with greater kindness and patience. Our hearts expand to hold not only our own pain, but also the suffering of others, creating a bridge of empathy and connection. Now take a moment to think about your own experiences of pain and loss. What moments have shaped your life and your understanding of the world? Perhaps there have been losses too great to put into words, disappointments that have shadowed your days, or subtle aches that linger quietly beneath the surface. Reflect on how these experiences connect you to others, even strangers who have also known sorrow. Imagine the countless lives across time and space, touched by grief, resilience, and healing. This shared humanity links us together in invisible but powerful ways. This awareness transforms grief from a source of isolation into a path toward empathy, kindness, and connection. As you lie here now, resting peacefully, bring your attention gently to your breath. Breathe deeply and slowly, feeling the rise and fall of your chest, the steady rhythm that carries you through this very moment. Allow your heart to open, softening toward your own pain and toward the universal journey of suffering and healing we all share. Invite compassion to flow inward, soothing your own wounds. Then invite it to flow outward, embracing the world and all beings who carry their own burdens. Recognize that in your pain, you are deeply connected to the earth beneath you, to the air around you, and to the countless beings who have come before and will come after. Your experience is a thread in the vast tapestry of existence, interwoven with every joy and sorrow. As you continue to breathe softly, repeat these reflections in your mind or aloud if you wish. Suffering is part of life, but so is compassion. I am not alone. May I be kind to myself. May I be kind to others. Let these words settle softly in your heart like a warm embrace, a quiet balm for sorrow. The story of Kisa Gotami also points toward a path of healing, one that begins with acceptance and slowly opens toward loving kindness. It reminds us that while suffering is universal and inevitable, so too is our capacity for compassion and peace. Acceptance does not mean resignation. It means acknowledging reality as it is without denial or resistance, and finding the courage to face pain with an open heart. Through this acceptance, we create space for transformation. And from this space, loving kindness or metta can arise naturally, offering healing not only to ourselves, but to all beings. In the next section, we will explore a foundational Buddhist practice, mindfulness of the breath. This practice is simple yet profound, a gentle anchor that grounds us in the present moment. With mindful breathing, we cultivate calm clarity and a deep connection to life as it unfolds, even amid change and uncertainty. Stay with me now as we continue this peaceful, tender journey inward, a journey toward healing, understanding, and profound peace. Among the many treasures in the teachings of the Buddha, mindfulness of the breath holds a special place. It is a practice so simple yet so profound that it has supported countless practitioners over millennia in cultivating calm clarity and deep presence. Tonight, as you rest here, this practice invites you gently back to the present moment, the one place where peace truly resides. Mindfulness of the breath is exactly what it sounds like, bringing your full attention to the natural rhythm of your breathing. There is no need to change it or control it. Simply notice the in-breath as it enters your body and the out-breath as it leaves. This simple act becomes a powerful anchor steadying the mind amidst the many thoughts, feelings, and distractions that arise. Imagine your breath as a quiet river flowing in and out, carrying away tension and worry with each exhale and bringing fresh calm with each inhale. Feel the coolness of the air as it moves through your nostrils. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest or belly. With each breath, you become more grounded in the here and now, this present moment. This breath is always available. It is your refuge when the mind races or the heart feels heavy. The breath is a bridge between body and mind, a thread weaving you into the fabric of life itself. Breath is often called the anchor of the mind, because no matter where your thoughts drift, the breath is always there. A gentle guide back to stillness and presence. Mindfulness of breathing is not about achieving a special state or escaping difficulties. It is about welcoming whatever is here, the joy, the pain, the calm, the restlessness, with gentle curiosity and kindness. When thoughts arise, you simply note them and return your attention to the breath. When emotions swell, you breathe through them rather than away from them. Over time, this practice cultivates a spaciousness within a silent, steady presence that holds all experience without judgment. It softens the grip of anxiety, soothes the sting of sadness, and brightens the moments of joy. As you lie quietly now, I invite you to try this practice with me. Take a slow, deep breath in. Feel the fullness of your lungs, and breathe out softly, releasing any tension. Bring your attention to the sensations of breathing. Notice the air entering and leaving your nostrils. Feel the gentle expansion and contraction of your abdomen or chest. If your mind wanders, that's perfectly natural. Gently guide your focus back to your breath, like a loving friend inviting you home. Let each breath be a wave washing over you, cleansing worry and fatigue. Breathe in calm, breathe out tension, breathe in peace, breathe out resistance. Feel yourself resting deeply in this flow. With practice, mindfulness of breathing becomes more than a meditation. It becomes a way of being a gentle, steady presence in every moment, no matter what arises. This steady presence allows you to respond to life's changes with greater ease and wisdom. It teaches you that just as the breath comes and goes, so too do thoughts, feelings, and experiences, impermanent, ever-changing. When you awaken to this truth, you find rest not in controlling life, but in accepting its flow. The breath grounds you in this acceptance, this unfolding moment. Breath is life's silent rhythm, the quiet pulse beneath all activity. Like the ocean's tide, it ebbs and flows naturally without effort or worry. You might notice how the breath changes with your feelings, becoming quicker with excitement or fear, slower with relaxation. Yet beneath these changes, the breath remains steady, always ready to bring you back to calm. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, let your breath be your companion. Steady, soothing, and true. Allow yourself to rest in the simple grace of being here now. Feel the stillness that grows with each breath. Know that you can return to this peaceful center anytime, day or night. Mindfulness of breathing is a gift you give yourself, a path back to balance whenever life feels overwhelming. Stay with me as we continue this gentle, unfolding journey towards stillness and understanding. In the quiet moments of contemplation, the Buddha often used poetic imagery to reveal profound truths about the nature of reality and perception. One such teaching is the image of the moon reflected in water, a metaphor that invites us to explore the difference between what we perceive and what truly is leading us to a place of deep peace beyond illusion. Imagine yourself standing by a calm lake on a clear, tranquil night. The sky is vast and velvety, stretched wide above you. High above, a bright full moon shines with serene brilliance, casting its gentle light across the landscape. Its glow is soft, yet unmistakable, a luminous presence that touches everything in sight. As you gaze into the water below, you see the moon's reflection shimmering delicately on the surface. The light dances with the gentle ripples, forming shifting patterns that move quietly with the water's flow. The reflection appears vivid and tangible, almost real enough to reach out and touch. Yet if you extend your hand toward the image, your fingers meet only the cool, moving water, the reflection itself slipping away as the surface ripples. This simple, natural image holds a deep and timeless teaching. It reveals a fundamental truth about perception and reality. What we see and experience is often a reflection, not the essence. Our thoughts, emotions, and sensory perceptions are like the moon's reflection, shaped by countless conditions, changing with the currents of the mind, and ultimately insubstantial. The moon itself symbolizes the true nature of reality, pure, radiant, and unchanging beneath the shifting surface of appearances. It is steady, luminous, and whole. The water's surface with its ripples and waves represents the mind and the world of sensory experience. The ripples are restless and ever-moving, affected by wind currents and passing disturbances. When we mistake the reflection for the moon itself, we become attached to transient images and stories. We chase after fleeting feelings, desires, or external validations, hoping to grasp something permanent and reliable. This misunderstanding leads to suffering because what is grasped is never solid or lasting. But when we learn to see the difference, to recognize the reflection as just that, we begin to release the tight grip on illusions. We begin to understand that peace comes not from holding on to passing images or clinging to the surface of life, but from connecting with the still, unchanging reality beneath. In your own experience, notice how your mind often clings to images, memories, worries, hopes, and fears that seem real and urgent. These mental reflections can pull you into cycles of excitement, anxiety, longing, or regret. They can become storms on the surface of your mind, creating turbulence and unrest. Yet beneath these waves of thought lies a stillness like the moon itself, constant and serene. This stillness is your true nature, untouched by passing thoughts or feelings. It is the deep peace that remains when the mind's surface calms. Through mindfulness and meditation, you can begin to touch that stillness. You can learn to observe the reflections without being swept away by them, recognizing their transient nature. You become the serene sky, vast and unchanging, in which the clouds of thought and emotion come and go. As you rest here now, gently bring your attention to your inner landscape. Imagine the moon shining bright within you, calm, clear, and steady. See your thoughts as ripples on the surface of a lake, changing, moving, but not the essence of who you are. Breathe in and feel the stillness beneath the waves. Breathe out and release any tension or clinging in your mind. Allow yourself to rest in this peaceful awareness, free from the need to hold or chase. This teaching invites us into a spaciousness beyond confusion and attachment. It encourages a softening of our grip on what seems solid, opening the heart to the flow of life as it is. The moon reflected in water is not separate from the moon itself, just as our experiences are not separate from the deeper reality of our being. When we awaken to this truth, peace arises naturally. Remember, this is not about denying or escaping the world, but about seeing it with clear eyes and an open heart. It is about living fully in the moment while understanding the nature of all things. The reflection teaches us humility, patience, and grace. It reminds us that appearances are fleeting and ever-changing, while the true nature of life is steady and luminous. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, carry this image with you. Let the moon's steady light guide you into stillness. Let the water's gentle movement remind you of life's ebb and flow. Find peace in knowing that beneath every reflection, the true light remains unchanged. Feel the calmness in your breath, the gentle rhythm of your heart, and the stillness beneath all movement. You are connected to this eternal presence. In the next section, we will explore the practice of loving kindness, or metta meditation, a way to transform negativity with compassion and open the heart to boundless love. Stay with me as we continue this gentle unfolding of wisdom and calm. In the heart of Buddhist practice lies a transformative and radiant path, the practice of loving kindness, known in Pali as metta. This gentle meditation invites us to open our hearts fully, allowing compassion and warmth to flow freely, first toward ourselves, then toward others, and ultimately toward all beings without exception. Loving kindness is a universal balm that softens the edges of anger, fear, and loneliness. It is not a passive feeling, but an active conscious choice to embrace the world with kindness, even when it feels difficult or undeserved. Unlike simple goodwill, metta arises from a deep understanding, the recognition that all beings, regardless of their circumstances, seek happiness and wish to be free from suffering, just as we do. It is a recognition of our shared humanity and interconnectedness. Imagine for a moment a small flame glowing warmly within your chest. This flame represents your innate capacity for love, kindness, and compassion. It may flicker softly now, but with each moment of mindful attention, it grows steadily. As you practice metta meditation, this flame expands, filling your whole body with warmth and gentle light. From this place of inner kindness, you begin to send gentle wishes outward. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. With each breath, the flame grows brighter and broader, extending these wishes first to someone you love deeply, a friend, a family member, a teacher, then to someone neutral, perhaps a neighbor, an acquaintance, or a stranger you've seen in passing. Finally, this radiant warmth flows even toward those with whom you struggle, those who have caused you pain, or whom you find difficult to forgive. At last, this love and kindness expand beyond boundaries, enveloping all beings near and far, friend and foe alike, embracing the world in a vast, unending circle of compassion. Practicing loving kindness has profound and tangible effects on our mind and heart. It helps dissolve barriers of resentment, bitterness, and fear. It cultivates patience, forgiveness, and genuine joy. Modern science supports these ancient teachings, showing that metta meditation activates areas of the brain associated with empathy, emotional regulation, and positive mood. By nurturing loving kindness, we foster a more peaceful and connected state of being, both within ourselves and in our relationships with others. When we commit to making loving kindness a daily practice, We train our minds to respond to life's inevitable challenges with gentleness rather than harshness. We build resilience, replacing reactive negative patterns with a steady habit of care and warmth. This transformation ripples outward, influencing not only our inner landscape, but also the world we touch. Now, as you lie quietly resting here, I invite you to begin a gentle metta meditation with me. Take a slow, deep breath in and breathe out softly. Bring your attention gently to your heart center, the place of warmth, kindness, and compassion within you. Silently repeat these phrases slowly and with intention. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Feel each phrase as a loving wish for yourself, allowing the words to sink deeply into your being. Sense the warmth growing with each repetition, a gentle embrace surrounding your whole body. Next, bring to mind someone you love deeply. Visualize their face clearly in your mind's eye, a friend, a family member, or a beloved teacher. Repeat the phrases for them, allowing your warm, loving energy to reach out and surround them. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Feel your heart expand as you send kindness to this person. Imagine your love wrapping around them like a soft blanket, comforting and supportive. Now bring to mind someone you feel neutral about, perhaps a neighbor, an acquaintance, or someone you have seen but do not know well. Repeat the wishes for them as well. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Allow your heart to open gently, including them within your circle of loving kindness, expanding your capacity for empathy. If you feel ready, bring to mind someone you find difficult, someone who has caused you pain, or whom you struggle to forgive. This step is often the most challenging, but also the most healing. Repeat the phrases for them. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Recognize that they too seek happiness and freedom from suffering just as you do. Allow your heart to soften, even if just a little, as you extend kindness to them. This is not about excusing harm, but about freeing yourself from the heavy chains of anger and resentment. Finally, extend your loving kindness to all beings everywhere. Visualize a vast ocean of light radiating from your heart, touching every corner of the earth, every living being, human, animal, plant, without exception. Repeat once more. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with ease. Rest in this expansive feeling of love and kindness. Notice how your body relaxes, how your mind quiets, and how a gentle warmth of connection and peace spreads throughout your entire being. Loving kindness is a practice of the heart that transforms not only our own suffering, but also the suffering of the world. It nurtures the roots of true peace and awakens the radiant light of compassion within. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, let metta meditation be your companion. Carry this gentle flame of compassion within you, nurturing it with care and patience. Know that by nurturing kindness toward yourself and others, you nurture the very essence of peace that resides in all beings. Stay with me as we continue this unfolding journey of wisdom and calm. In the heart of Buddhist symbolism, the silent Buddha statue stands as a timeless emblem of profound stillness and inner peace. Tonight, as you rest quietly, imagine this statue before you, not as a cold, lifeless object, but as a living symbol of calm presence, a mirror reflecting the deep stillness that resides within your own being. Picture the Buddha's serene face, peaceful and radiant. His eyes are gently closed or half-lidded in meditation, a soft, knowing smile playing upon his lips. There is no rush in his presence, no tension or struggle, only an unshakable calm that invites you to settle fully into yourself, exactly as you are. This is the silent language of peace, a gentle teaching without words, inviting your heart to open and your mind to rest. Imagine now sitting beside this statue in a quiet temple garden. The air around you is still tinged with the faint scent of incense and the delicate fragrance of blooming flowers. Soft light filters through the leaves, casting gentle shadows that seem to breathe with the rhythm of the earth itself. There is no urgency here, only spaciousness, an invitation to slow down, to listen, and to be. This statue, silent yet profoundly alive in its stillness, is not separate from you. It is a symbol of the potential for peace in every human heart. Like the statue, you too can cultivate an unmovable stillness, a sanctuary within where the noise of the world quiets and the mind naturally rests. The silent Buddha statue teaches us about the profound power of presence. It reveals that stillness is not a void or an absence, nor is it a form of emptiness in the sense of lacking. Instead, it is a full, awake, and welcoming state, a spacious openness to whatever is free from distraction or disturbance. In this stillness, the mind is like a calm pond. Reflections of passing thoughts may ripple gently across the surface, but these ripples do not disturb the depth beneath. The profound quiet beneath remains steady and serene, holding everything with gentle acceptance. Imagine the surface of a tranquil pond on a quiet morning. A soft breeze stirs the water ever so slightly, creating delicate ripples that move outward and fade. Though the surface changes moment by moment, the water beneath remains deep, clear, and unmoved. In the same way, our thoughts, feelings, and sensations may come and go like those ripples, but the stillness at our core is unchanging. When the mind settles into this stillness, thoughts may continue to arise, but they no longer have the power to unsettle or overwhelm. They appear, flow through, and gently fade away like ripples on that calm pond. This calm presence remains steady and stable, a quiet refuge that embraces all experience with compassion and equanimity. Take a moment now to reflect on your own inner landscape. Perhaps your mind feels restless, filled with swirling worries about tomorrow, regrets about the past, or racing plans for the days ahead. You may have noticed how fleeting moments of peace arise, only to be quickly shattered by a passing thought or sensation. This is a very common experience. The image of the silent Buddha, calm and unshaken, invites you to return again and again to that place of deep stillness, to nurture it as a refuge from the storms of life. It calls you to trust the spaciousness within you, the sanctuary, where calm endures even amid constant change. As you lie comfortably now, fully supported by your bed, bring your awareness gently to your breath, feeling its natural rhythm grounding you here in the present moment. Visualize the silent Buddha's calm presence beside you. Allow that serene stillness to seep softly into your being, like a gentle wave washing over your body and mind. Feel your muscles soften and release tension. Notice your heartbeat slow to a steady, soothing rhythm. Sense your thoughts becoming quieter, more spacious, and more gentle. This stillness is not something to force or fabricate. It arises naturally when the mind stops grasping, when resistance melts away, and when you open fully to the unfolding present moment. Like the silent Buddha, you embody a peace that is steadfast and unshaken, a peaceful presence that endures no matter what arises around or within you. The statue's silence is not emptiness, but an invitation to listen to yourself, to life, and to the vastness within. It is a deep, patient listening, free from judgment and expectation. It teaches patience and perseverance, reminding us that peace is not a quick achievement, but a practice cultivated over time with gentle care and consistent return. The Buddha's silent gaze is an emblem of compassion, a steady light that never dims. It welcomes all parts of you, your struggles, your joys, your fears, and your hopes, without criticism or exclusion. This inclusivity is the essence of compassion, embracing wholeness without exception. This is the power of presence, to be fully here, awake, tender, and alive, connected with all that is. Consider how this teaching extends beyond formal meditation practice. In moments of stress or difficulty during your day, you can return to this silent presence within. Imagine the calm, steady face of the Buddha, inviting you to breathe deeply, to pause and to rest in your own stillness. Each time you do this, you strengthen your ability to meet life with equanimity and grace. You cultivate a refuge within a place you can carry with you, no matter the circumstances. Tonight, as you prepare to drift into sleep, carry this image of the silent Buddha within you. Let its stillness be your sanctuary, a sacred place you can visit whenever the mind grows restless or the heart feels heavy. Know that this place is always available. You can return here anytime, a steady presence, a peaceful refuge in the midst of life's changing tides. Stay with me as we continue this unfolding journey of insight, openness, and tranquility. The Gateless Gate. Koan is one of the most revered and mysterious teachings within the tradition of Zen Buddhism. It beckons us beyond the familiar terrain of logical reasoning and conceptual understanding, inviting us instead to step into the vast and uncharted realm of direct experience, a realm where the mind's usual need for answers and explanations dissolves into a spacious openness. This koan, often referred to simply as the Gateless Gate, presents a paradox that challenges the very foundation of our conditioned thinking. How does one pass through a gate that does not exist? How does one find a path when in truth, there is no path at all? In the Zen tradition, koans are not puzzles to be intellectually solved or riddles to be cracked. They serve as skillful devices designed to jolt the mind out of its habitual patterns, to rattle the cage of dualistic thinking that divides and confines. They beckon us to relinquish the endless grasping for concepts and to awaken to a direct, unmediated encounter with reality. In this encounter, words and ideas lose their grip, and a deeper, ineffable knowing arises. The phrase, "Gateless Gate," itself is pregnant with symbolic meaning. It suggests that the obstacles we perceive in life, the fences we believe fence us in, the walls that seem to block our way, the gates that appear locked and barred, are often fabrications of our own minds. These barriers exist not as absolute facts, but as mental constructions born of fear, attachment, and misunderstanding. The true gate, the real passage to freedom, is not locked or closed. It simply does not exist as a barrier at all. Our perceived limitations, separations, and obstructions are illusions we can dissolve by stepping beyond the confines of binary thought. Visualize for a moment standing before what you believe to be a solid gate barring your passage. Perhaps you try to open it, pushing, pulling, searching for keys or passwords, but no matter your effort, it refuses to budge. Yet as your eyes adjust and your mind opens, you realize the gate was never truly there. It was a mirage conjured by your fears and doubts, a phantom fence constructed from your own inner resistance. With this recognition, your tension eases. You step through, effortlessly entering the boundless open space beyond. This recognition is a profound awakening, a luminous moment of insight when the mental barriers fall away and freedom reveals itself not as a distant goal, but as the very nature of your being. Reflect on your own life. How often have you felt blocked or confined not by external forces, but by the invisible walls built within your own mind. Fear, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and rigid concepts of who you are or what your life should be can create an internal cage more restrictive than any physical prison. The teaching of the Gateless Gate gently reminds us that these barriers are not unbreakable. They exist only insofar as we hold on to them. By loosening our grip on fixed views, by surrendering the need to control or define every experience, we open to a new freedom, one where movement and transformation arise naturally. Now, in this quiet moment, rest your awareness softly in your breath. Allow yourself to release the pressing need for certainty or explanation. Embrace the mystery that surrounds and permeates all things the unknown, the silent spaces beyond words and thoughts. Feel the spaciousness that arises as you relinquish the compulsion to solve or fix. Let paradox and uncertainty settle gently within you, inviting curiosity and openness rather than resistance. Imagine your mind as a vast sky, clear and open, holding countless stars, each a flicker of experience, impermanent and luminous. This sky is not disturbed by passing clouds, just as your true self remains unshaken by transient thoughts and emotions. The Gateless Gate teaches us that the path to awakening is not a linear journey marked by milestones or accomplishments. It is an invitation to stop searching, to cease struggling, and to rest fully in the present moment as it is. It encourages a surrender not to passivity, but to a vibrant, awake presence that meets life with clarity and compassion. As you lie here supported by the comfort around you, imagine stepping through this invisible gate. Feel the lightness that comes with releasing old burdens, the spaciousness that unfolds when resistance falls away. Know deeply that this gate, the passage to true freedom, is always open. It is your nature, pure and boundless, waiting patiently beneath the layers of thought and conditioning. The freedom offered by the Gateless Gate is not distant or abstract. It is accessible here and now in your breath, in your awareness, in the very experience of being alive. It asks only for your willingness to let go of certainty, to rest in not knowing, and to embrace the paradoxes that life presents. In the next section, we will turn to another of the Buddha's profound teachings, the metaphor of the poisoned arrow. This teaching encourages us to face life's inevitable challenges with courage and clarity, rather than adding unnecessary layers of worry, speculation, or resistance. We will explore how embracing reality as it is directly and honestly leads to genuine peace and healing. Stay with me as we continue this gentle and insightful journey toward openness, courage, and deep understanding. The Buddha's teaching of the poisoned arrow offers a profoundly practical and deeply compassionate lesson on how to face life's inevitable challenges with clarity, courage, and presence. Imagine this vivid scene. Someone has been struck by a poisoned arrow, a wound that is both urgent and dangerous. Instead of immediately seeking treatment or removing the arrow, this person becomes consumed by a flood of questions. Who fired the arrow? What kind of poison is it? Where exactly was it shot from? How deep is the wound? How long has the arrow been there? Each question, while natural and understandable, only serves to delay the person's urgent need for healing. The wound remains open and untreated. It festers and causes increasing harm. This powerful metaphor spoken by the Buddha mirrors the way many of us respond to suffering. When pain, loss, illness, or hardship enter our lives, whether physical, emotional, or mental, our minds often add a cascade of mental arrows on top of the original wound. We become entangled in fears about the future, regrets about the past, endless what-ifs, and obsessive thinking that traps us in cycles of distress and despair. These mental elaborations do not alleviate suffering. In fact, they weave a tangled web of anguish, far more complex and enduring than the original source of pain. The Buddha's teaching here is an invitation, gentle yet firm. Stop adding extra pain to your existing wounds. Instead, face the immediate reality with clear eyes and an open heart. Focus on what is present and needs your attention in this moment. Tend to the wound itself, your pain, your difficulty with presence, compassion, and acceptance. This clear and compassionate recognition is the first step on the path toward true relief and healing. Consider how often your own suffering has been prolonged or deepened by the mental arrows you have shot at yourself. It may be worry about uncertainties looming ahead, harsh self-judgment for mistakes made, or avoidance of difficult feelings and realities. The teaching encourages you to notice these patterns of thought and to gently step back from them, recognizing them as unnecessary layers that you can lay down. In your own life, find a quiet moment to reflect on times when you have been caught in cycles of worry, fear, or avoidance. Recall how during those times your suffering seemed heavier, more complex, more difficult to bear. Now imagine what it might feel like to meet your pain simply as it is, without judgment, without spinning stories, without fear. Imagine approaching it with kindness, as if comforting a dear friend who is hurting. Allow yourself to breathe deeply into the space of compassionate presence. Open your heart gently and without expectation. As you rest here now, fully supported by your bed, bring gentle awareness to any area of discomfort, challenge, or difficulty in your life. It might be physical pain, emotional heaviness, mental unrest, or subtle tension held in your body. Without resistance pushing or trying to fix anything, simply meet this experience with openness and kindness. Notice what arises in your body and mind. Perhaps there is tightness or tension you can breathe into. Maybe there is a painful memory or anxious thought that surfaces. Allow it to be as it is without needing to change or judge it. This acceptance is not resignation or passivity. It is an active, courageous embracing of reality, exactly as it is, creating a foundation for healing and peace. The metaphor of the poisoned arrow also teaches us about the limits of speculation and avoidance. Just as the wounded person cannot heal without removing the arrow and tending to the wound, we cannot find peace by endlessly worrying about the causes, consequences, or unknown details of our suffering. By shifting our attention from mental noise and distraction to the direct experience of presence and healing, we open the way for true relief. Reflect too on how this teaching encourages patience and gentleness with yourself. Healing rarely happens instantly. Like nursing a wounded plant or tending a slow healing scar, it requires time, gentle care, and often support from others. Each moment of mindful presence, each breath taken with kindness, nourishes this process. Feel gratitude for your willingness to face your experience honestly and tenderly. This teaching resonates deeply with all kinds of suffering, whether it be physical pain, emotional grief, anxiety, fear, or the small but persistent discomforts of daily life. When we stop shooting mental arrows, we reclaim our energy and clarity. When we meet pain directly with kindness and presence, we begin to move beyond suffering and toward peace. Tonight, as you prepare to drift into sleep, hold this teaching softly in your heart. Allow it to guide you toward openness and courage, the courage to face what is, and the openness to rest peacefully beneath. As you breathe, know you are not alone. Just as countless beings before you have faced pain and suffering, so too does this teaching offer a timeless path for relief. Allow the quiet strength of this moment to settle deeply within you. In the next section, we will explore the profound teaching of interconnectedness, the deep truth that all things are interdependent, inspiring a heart open to connection and free from separation. Stay with me as we continue this gentle journey of wisdom and peace. The Buddha's teaching of the poisoned arrow offers a profoundly practical and deeply compassionate lesson on how to face life's inevitable challenges with clarity, courage, and presence. Imagine this vivid scene. Someone has been struck by a poisoned arrow, a wound that is both urgent and dangerous. Instead of immediately seeking treatment or removing the arrow, this person becomes consumed by a flood of questions. Who fired the arrow? What kind of poison is it? Where exactly was it shot from? How deep is the wound? How long has the arrow been there? Each question, while natural and understandable, only serves to delay the person's urgent need for healing. The wound remains open and untreated. It festers and causes increasing harm. This powerful metaphor, spoken by the Buddha, mirrors the way many of us respond to suffering. When pain, loss, illness, or hardship enter our lives, whether physical, emotional, or mental, our minds often add a cascade of mental arrows on top of the original wound. We become entangled in fears about the future, regrets about the past, endless what-ifs, and obsessive thinking that traps us in cycles of distress and despair. These mental elaborations do not alleviate suffering. In fact, they weave a tangled web of anguish far more complex and enduring than the original source of pain. The Buddha's teaching here is an invitation, gentle yet firm. Stop adding extra pain to your existing wounds. Instead, face the immediate reality with clear eyes and an open heart. Focus on what is present and needs your attention in this moment. Tend to the wound itself, your pain, your difficulty with presence, compassion, and acceptance. This clear and compassionate recognition is the first step on the path toward true relief and healing. Consider how often your own suffering has been prolonged or deepened by the mental arrows you have shot at yourself. It may be worry about uncertainties looming ahead, harsh self-judgment for mistakes made, or avoidance of difficult feelings and realities. The teaching encourages you to notice these patterns of thought and to gently step back from them, recognizing them as unnecessary layers that you can lay down. In your own life, find a quiet moment to reflect on times when you have been caught in cycles of worry, fear, or avoidance. Recall how during those times your suffering seemed heavier, more complex, more difficult to bear. Now imagine what it might feel like to meet your pain simply as it is, without judgment, without spinning stories, without fear. Imagine approaching it with kindness, as if comforting a dear friend who is hurting. Allow yourself to breathe deeply into this space of compassionate presence. Open your heart gently and without expectation. As you rest here now, fully supported by your bed, bring gentle awareness to any area of discomfort, challenge, or difficulty in your life. It might be physical pain, emotional heaviness, mental unrest, or subtle tension held in your body. Without resistance pushing or trying to fix anything, simply meet this experience with openness and kindness. Notice what arises in your body and mind. Perhaps there is tightness or tension you can breathe into. Maybe there is a painful memory or anxious thought that surfaces. Allow it to be as it is, without needing to change or judge it. This acceptance is not resignation or passivity. It is an active, courageous embracing of reality, exactly as it is creating a foundation for healing and peace. The metaphor of the poisoned arrow also teaches us about the limits of speculation and avoidance. Just as the wounded person cannot heal without removing the arrow and tending to the wound, we cannot find peace by endlessly worrying about the causes, consequences, or unknown details of our suffering. By shifting our attention from mental noise and distraction to the direct experience of presence and healing, we open the way for true relief. Reflect too on how this teaching encourages patience and gentleness with yourself. Healing rarely happens instantly. Like nursing a wounded plant or tending a slow healing scar, it requires time, gentle care, and often support from others. Each moment of mindful presence, each breath taken with kindness, nourishes this process. Feel gratitude for your willingness to face your experience honestly and tenderly. This teaching resonates deeply with all kinds of suffering, whether it be physical pain, emotional grief, anxiety, fear, or the small but persistent discomforts of daily life. When we stop shooting mental arrows, we reclaim our energy and clarity. When we meet pain directly with kindness and presence, we begin to move beyond suffering and toward peace. Tonight, as you prepare to drift into sleep, hold this teaching softly in your heart. Allow it to guide you toward openness and courage. The courage to face what is and the openness to rest peacefully beneath. As you breathe, know you are not alone. Just as countless beings before you have faced pain and suffering, so too does this teaching offer a timeless path for relief. Allow the quiet strength of this moment to settle deeply within you. In the next section, we will explore the profound teaching of interconnectedness, the deep truth that all things are interdependent, inspiring a heart open to connection and free from separation. Stay with me as we continue this gentle journey of wisdom and peace. As our peaceful journey together draws toward its close, it is time to gently gather and weave together the many threads of wisdom we have explored, each teaching a vital part of the path of letting go. This final section offers a tender reflection on how to integrate these insights into your daily life, cultivating a practice of living with ease, grace, and enduring inner peace. Letting go is not a one-time event or a distant destination. It is a continual unfolding, a daily practice, and a gentle art of releasing what no longer serves us, while embracing what nourishes our true nature. Over the course of our journey, we have encountered many guiding lights, the quiet power of presence embodied by the silent Buddha statue, the liberating insight of non-self that frees us from ego's heavy burden, the courageous call to face life's suffering directly, without adding layers of worry, and the profound understanding of interconnectedness that dissolves isolation and invites compassion. Each of these teachings is a tool, delicate, powerful, and ever available to help you navigate the complexities of life with a heart open to peace and a mind anchored in clarity. Begin by considering how you might bring these teachings into the rhythm of your everyday existence. When difficult emotions arise, fear, frustration, sadness, remember the image of the silent Buddha, steady, calm, unshaken. Let this image remind you that beneath the surface turbulence of emotion, there is an unmovable stillness you can rest in. This is your refuge. When your mind becomes restless, caught in worry or endless thought, bring your attention gently back to your breath. Feel its natural rhythm. Let your breath be the anchor that steadies you in the present moment, the only place where peace truly resides. Recall the teaching of non-self, the fluid, ever-changing nature of identity. When you find yourself caught in the stories of I, me, and mine, gently remind yourself that these are but passing waves on the surface of a vast ocean. Like a flowing river, you are constantly evolving. Loosening your grip on fixed self-concepts can bring a deep sense of freedom and ease. Let this insight soften the need to control, to defend, or to resist change. Turn also to the metaphor of the poisoned arrow, which calls you to meet pain and difficulty directly. Resist the temptation to pile on extra layers of worry or what-if scenarios that only prolong suffering. Instead, practice facing what is with courage and tenderness. This willingness to be present with discomfort is a path toward healing and peace. When feelings of separation or loneliness arise, recall the teaching of interconnectedness. Visualize the intricate web that connects all beings, an endless network of relationships, influence, and shared life. Let this awareness dissolve the walls that isolate you, opening your heart to empathy and compassion for yourself and others. Feel the warmth and strength that come from knowing you are part of this vast living whole. This path of letting go is one of patience and gentleness. You will encounter moments when old patterns resurface, when fears arise, or when the mind pulls you away from stillness. These moments are not failures, but natural parts of the unfolding journey. Each time you notice and return to presence, you cultivate resilience, deepen your peace, and strengthen your capacity for love. Celebrate your courage and your commitment to walk this path with kindness toward yourself. As you lie now, fully supported and resting, bring your awareness gently to your breath. Feel the steady, soothing rhythm anchoring you in this moment. Imagine the teachings we have shared as a gentle stream flowing into a vast, calm lake, your inner wellspring of peace, wisdom, and strength. Let the waters of this lake ripple softly, embracing every part of your experience without judgment or resistance. Remember that letting go does not mean giving up or losing your sense of self. Rather, it means stepping into a fuller, more spacious experience of life, one where you are free to be whole, present, and alive. It means releasing the unnecessary burdens that weigh down your spirit so your true nature can shine freely. Tonight, as you prepare to drift into restful sleep, carry this intention gently in your heart to live with openness, compassion, and ease. Trust in the unfolding journey and the wisdom you carry, and in the gentle power of presence. Know that you are never alone on this path. The teachings, the practice, and the quiet strength within you are always available, ready to support, guide, and nourish your spirit. May this journey of letting go bring you closer to the deep peace that resides beyond all worries, beyond all fears. May it awaken in you a steady, gentle joy, one that blossoms naturally when the mind rests free. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this sacred journey tonight. May the reflections and teachings we have shared nourish your heart long after the last words are spoken. May you walk your path with grace, courage, and serene clarity. May you find freedom in letting go, and may your spirit rest deeply now and always. Let this peaceful journey inspire ongoing practice, a daily return to presence, to loving kindness, and to the spaciousness that arises when we truly let go. Now, as you prepare to rest deeply and fully, feel the quiet gratitude for this moment of stillness and learning. Know that every breath you take is an opportunity to begin anew, to release and to embrace the sacred unfolding of your life. May your nights be filled with restful sleep, your days with gentle joy, and your spirit with lasting peace. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. May you carry its light within, shining brightly on your path. Good night and sweet dreams.